Hey everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Assessing Livingston Parish with Jeff Taylor. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing great. I like our pre-taping conversations that we have. We get through a lot of things. We get all fired up. And
Yeah,
get all
we
happy
do.
about it.
That's right. They are fun. And you've had a busy week,
Yes.
to say the least. Of course, the storm that just passed through. As regular constituents, we don't sometimes think about assessors, for example, and what happens when these storms come through. And you were boots on the ground pretty quick.
Well, as soon as they went through, I contacted the sheriff and I contacted Mr. DeLatte,
Yep.
both of them, because we didn't want to get in the way. You know,
Sure.
that's the thing. People are not really interested in the assessor's office showing up when the storm goes through and they got damage to their house.
Yeah.
Unless the assessor's going to do his job that he's supposed to do.
Right.
So I called both of them. I said, where can we get, because my drone program that we started back in May, June,
Yep.
I said, we're ready to go. We're going to fly over some of these areas and we're going to be able to show the damage for assessment purposes. So we're not there to just show houses and have fun, but we need to be able to document where we actually have damage.
Yeah.
The sheriff contacted me right back. Mr. DeLatte contacted me, said, you're free to go anywhere you want to. The sheriff said, hey, what if we work this thing together? My guys are going to be going out there for safety on the drones and showing where areas we can go. You document it for assessment purposes. We'll document it for that. How about we work together in tandem? My guys, both of them, Katie and Trey, showed up. And they went to the sheriff's office. They came up with a plan. Next thing you know, within 2 days, we've got footage that we're able to now put on our mapping system that's going to show us where the damage is. Now, we don't know who all lives in those houses. It's going to take us a while to know that.
Sure.
But we know the area.
Yeah.
So we can start looking at these things. So I was really proud of the fact that when it went through, my people were calling and saying, we're ready to roll.
Yeah.
And they rolled.
They rolled. And I put something out actually on the Facebook page the other day and mentioned that, hey, if you got damage, don't hesitate to reach out to the assessor's office and let them know. They got to know they can't go in your house.
Right.
And it's hard to see sometimes from a drone. You can see the damage maybe on the outside, but it's probably hard to tell if it went in the inside.
It's impossible to find out all of that. So what we're asking people to do, Jim, is just work with us.
Yeah.
You know, so many times we try to work against each other and you pull away from each other. The truth of the matter is the assessments are already set for this year. So there's nothing going to happen any worse.
Right.
So there can only be good that can happen for you.
That's
so
right.
if you've got damage, you've got an estimate, you've got insurance, you've got anything like that, bring it into us.
Yep.
Because whatever that damage is, we can lower it off of your assessment.
Yeah.
The other ones are already set. So it's only going to behoove you to come in and show us. Now, bring us proof.
Yeah.
Don't just come in and say, hey, by the way, I got some damage.
Yeah.
We got any proof? No, I don't have any proof. That's not going to work. But if you got pictures, if you've got insurance, if you've got adjustments and everything like that, bring it in.
Yeah.
I promise you're going to like the results.
Yeah. Let's talk about appeals real quick with the assessor's office, and especially recently.
Okay, well, when you get through with the open book period, which was the 29th of August, you've got like a week, 3 days, something like that, to go ahead. I think it was through the 5th, if I'm not mistaken. But you have that time to get your appeals in. If you disagree with us and you just don't like what we did and everything, you can appeal your assessment.
Yeah.
We got one.
Right.
Now, we've been working on this since February, letting people know it's coming. So people know it's coming.
Oh, yeah.
They're paying attention, and all these districts, people are going to the district meetings. Everybody's paying attention.
Yep.
That tells you one thing. Our assessments are right.
Yep.
So when people were looking at them, they're going, I don't like it. I don't have to like it, but his numbers are right. We had one appeal that come in. I was expecting way, way more than that.
Yeah.
I thought people were going to appeal, but we had one unit up here that appealed. And so we went to work on it, and we contacted them and said, look, this is what we have. Our numbers are right, but if you do an income approach, because your building is an income,
Sure.
if you do that, that is actually going to help you in your assessment because you got vacancies. You got about 15, 20%. We can't figure that in on a cost approach.
Sure.
But if you send that, that's going to actually help you. Well, he sends it in. He says, that's still not where I want. I said, where'd you come up with your numbers? Well, I just used last year's numbers. He had not done any research. He had not done anything at all. He just wanted his assessment lowered.
Yeah.
And his words were, and you're going to love this, usually when we call, the assessor's offices just lower their millages, and we don't have to go through. I said, well, we don't do that. I'm not a used car salesman here. We got our numbers. This is what they're going to be. If you'll send me your true rent rolls, that will tell me what your vacancy is. And at that point, I will adjust your assessment based on that, and that will be the right number.
Yeah.
As we're doing it together, and me and him come up with the same number within just a few dollars.
Yeah.
Because he gave me all the net operating income. I just put the millage rates and everything on it.
Sure.
That's all to do.
Yeah.
And when I put it on there, he's like, yep, that's the value. I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure. He said, I'm going to go ahead and pull that appeal.
Yeah.
He said, if you agree not to put it to where the cost was. I said, I can't because you've now given me this information, and that information has to be used.
Sure.
Because that is your true income. I said, but I'm not going to the half of that, what you said it was. It's going to be the true number. And he wanted to drop it. He said, yeah, and the tax commission agreed.
Yeah, very good. And
so that went by the wayside.
Yeah, so really, you have one little issue there, but no appeals outside of that. And how many assessments are there? How many?
70, 80,000, somewhere in there. Just a few.
That's unbelievable. Yeah. It's a testament to the work that y'all are doing over there.
Let me tell you, I wanted to say, I'm glad you said that, because when you look at the numbers and the way they come through, I'm the assessor.
Yeah.
Okay. I've got a dedicated staff that works for me.
Yeah.
And when that appeal come through, they take it personally.
Yeah.
Because they're like, somebody's questioning, and we don't mind you questioning.
Right.
But they're questioning my integrity. They're saying that I'm going way over. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not educated enough to do this, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff.
Sure.
And then when you look at it and you come back and you say, did a good job, because the numbers are there. It supports what you had. And you've got the income approach sitting over here blank because they haven't sent it to us. And you got the cost approach, and even the guy that owned the building said your cost approach is right.
Yeah.
But, and I said, send it in to us. He said that everybody else lowered the assessment.
Yeah.
He said, you didn't lower it. I said, not moving a bit, not a little bit.
Yeah.
Because my numbers are right. Because it's not about Jeff Taylor. It's then about my commercial department that did the job right.
Sure.
So if I go behind them and say, oh, by the way, let me just see what I can do. No, my numbers are right. My people did it right. They're trained. They're educated. And our numbers are right.
Yeah.
So we're going to stay there.
Yeah.
Because I'll be doggone if I'm going to lower somebody else's assessments when my people are going up 40%.
Yeah.
And we've been telling people since February, get ready, get ready, get ready. Oh, but you're a business, so I'm gonna let you lower it down. No.
Yeah.
The numbers are the numbers.
Very
and my people
good.
did a great job.
Very good. And it's getting towards the end of the year. Speaking of assessments, those new, I hate to use the term bills, but it's a bill. It comes out in December-ish is when people would start receiving those typically.
What we're trying to do, we've got certain deadlines we've got to reach.
Yeah.
And we're doing our best to get it. We've had some of the districts ask us, when are we going to be ready to send these notices out? We're trying to get them out the first part of November.
Yeah.
The storm pushed us back a week. We were really pushing for that. But because of the storm, it's not just a week it's pushed us back now, because you got deadlines and everything that you notifications. So it may be more 10th to 15th of November.
Yeah.
But I'm pushing real hard.
I know.
They hated to see today when I walked in that office, and I'm like, this is where we're at. What's the least days we've got to have for this, and this?
Right.
And so we're pushing it as far as we can. We've talked to the legislative auditor. We've talked to the tax commission. As soon as I can get this, if I get this Thursday night and they can get us something Friday morning, my people are going to drive it over. We're not going to wait till Monday or Tuesday to take it, which we're closed on Fridays.
Sure.
But somebody's going to be there to take it straight over there and go ahead and get this approved. Once we get all of those things done, then they got to send it back to us. So it takes about 4 weeks or so. Yeah. So we're still shooting for the end of October, 1st of November, but it could be a little bit later.
Okay. And look, I know with you especially, you are someone that's very in favor of giving people as much notice as possible on that. I remember seeing you in a past council meeting years ago, and you were basically like, what comes around December time, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody looked and you said Christmas. Mm-hmm. So I want to make sure these people have, ample notice of what they're looking at, and really why you've been pushing this since February.
Jim, what I would love to see happen. Now, understand, everybody out there that's listening to me right now, this is not going to happen.
Yeah.
But what I would love to see happen is us to be able to back all these dates up and start in January instead of getting all of our numbers in by May and June. Let's get them in by January, February.
Yeah.
Whatever we got to start doing at the end of the year to get them in that time. And then send them out around June.
Yeah.
And that way, give them till December 31st to pay them.
Yeah.
But let them break them up into a few installments so
Yeah.
it don't hit them up. Now, it's the people's responsibility. You got to call up there and find out everything. But could you imagine if you got a notice 4 or 5 months and says your bill is $300 this month instead of all of a sudden you getting one that's $1,800
Yeah.
at December? But
Right.
if you know that in June and you can start putting that money aside, well, that's what we've done. When we tell you to come in and check your assessments, we're giving you all the way from June all the way through to start putting that money aside.
Yeah.
I would like to see it a law. But since it won't become a law, we have started doing it. We're opening our books, letting you see that this is where you're going to be.
Yeah.
So you can start preparing for it.
Yeah, it would be a great thing. Of course, a lot of things are in a perfect world.
Yeah, that's all in a perfect world.
Yeah.
But we are offering you a chance to come in and check it so you can kind of figure it up in your head, and we can help you figure it out. That my tax bill is going to be $1,500. So I know each month that would be somewhere around $120.
Yeah.
So at $120, you start putting that aside, and when it comes due in December, you got the money there to pay, and it's not quite as, it's still a hit, but it's not hitting you right around Christmas.
Yeah, very good point. Because not everybody puts their money, into their mortgage company takes it out
Yep.
automatically. I don't do that.
Yep.
And I don't know the percentage of people that don't, but it's probably a good percentage. So another great idea that who knows, maybe one day, but not this day.
One day. It's just not
Sadly.
happening today. But
Makes
there's
sense.
It's nothing that says that our parish council can't start looking at things like that
Yeah.
and saying, why not Livingston?
Yes.
I don't want to keep thinking in the same box. I want to get outside the box. What helps our parish? What can help our people? If doing that would help, let's do it.
Yeah.
If saying, you and I were talking a few minutes ago,
Yeah.
we're into the millages. We've been doing the same thing for 50 to 100 years. It's the same thing. This district gets this many meals.
Yeah.
Well, what if that district don't need that many meals anymore?
Yeah.
But they take it because it's the max. What if we started moving that around and say the millages are going to stay the same, 115, 120 meals, whatever it is, but we're going to reallocate those millages to put them where they're really needed.
Yeah.
And if you got a 2-year surplus in your budget, you don't get millages.
Right.
You're going to use your surplus because there's no reason for us to have that kind of surplus.
Sure.
People are not upset about taxes as much as you think they are. What they're worried about, if you listen to them, they want to know where the money's being spent.
Right.
You're taking my money and you're not spending it on the things that are necessary. There's nobody out there that's going to tell you we don't want the necessary things.
Sure.
But make sure they're necessary.
Yeah.
Don't sit there and put money aside that you don't need when it could be going to roads, or it could be going to police safety, it could be going to fire safety, it could be going to all of that. Yeah. And then all of a sudden your millages stay the same, but that money's been allocated and it's taken care of so much better.
That's
Think
right.
outside the box. It's time that we start doing those things.
I think it's critical.
Yeah.
So often, and I won't stay on this long, but so often government, sometimes officials or leaders in a government, they get so locked into a way of doing something that sometimes you'll have ideas like what you just mentioned, and you got to be someone that thinks outside that norm sometimes, and that's where the greatness comes from.
And you've got to make it uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's got to be uncomfortable. True growth comes with uncomfort.
My wife hates change.
Yes. People
She
just
hates
hate
it.
change.
Yeah.
But if I'm sitting there, Jim, and I've got this millage sitting on a deal, and I've told you that I've lowered my millages,
Yeah.
but they want to go back to their maximum because that's what they're used to. There's no thought process in it. They just say, I'm going to my maximum. I'm rolling back. I got to have it. I got to have it. I got to have it.
Yeah.
What if we started really looking into them
Yeah.
and saying, no, you don't really have to have it.
Right.
You can cut yours here. Our districts have shown that they can cut them.
100%.
Our little green Christmas tree and
Yeah.
our little red.
Yeah.
Next year we're going to have a red, green, and yellow.
Yeah.
Because if you go above inflation, you're getting a yellow.
Yeah.
You may not go to the maximum, but you went above inflation, so you're going to get a yellow.
Yeah.
You go below inflation or below, you get a green.
Right.
If you go to the maximum, you get a red. Now all of a sudden we got, instead of a Christmas tree, we've got a stoplight.
Right.
Now people can start to say, okay, these aren't even trying.
Yeah.
So when we start thinking outside the box, it's going to get, there's a lot of things that can be done.
I think so too. And transparency, a big part of that, something that your office has always been, is transparent, and the Christmas tree, as you call it, or the traffic light for next year. I think that's a perfect example of it, because you're showing it. Here it is. Here it is.
I've sold it to other assessors and other offices and everything, and they're like, man, what was the thought process when people started looking at this? I said, well, they were mad.
Yeah.
I said they were mad until they realized that they're fixing to go in the paper.
Right.
And if they're going to go in the paper, or they're going to go on a podcast, or they're going to go on the news, or they're going to go somewhere like this, maybe they don't need that money as much as they don't need as much as the ridicule that's going to come.
Yeah.
So they started lowering their millages.
Yeah.
And guess what? They still have enough money to operate.
That's it.
They may not can buy everything under the sun that they want, but they can sure function.
That's right.
They can function.
That's right, and you've done a great job of that this year, getting the message out, and of course we're already into 2025 with the assessor's office.
Man, we're deep into 25 already. Yeah. We're rolling. I'm trying to change some of our dates that I just told you, that we're starting to, because so long we would take and go from August after the books close, and then we'd have to do this, and this.
Yeah.
I'm trying to cut it off at the books closing.
Yeah.
And we're rolling it all over to 25. Well, now I've got an extra 3 or 4 months that I'm able to get things done. We're going to start moving some of our dates up.
Yep.
And we're going to start moving some of our personal property things up to where you don't go all the way to May the 1st.
Yeah.
You go to March the 1st.
Right.
Well, now, guess what happens when you get there? You can have your open book period and still, but I can be through with everything and say, what would you say if we could get a tax notice out September the 15th?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the people have enough time to really be set.
Yeah.
Because in August, I'll start working on 26 then.
Yeah.
But we got enough time now that they can get these things out.
Great.
It's thinking outside the box.
Outside
and let's just think about it, and let's just work on it. If the answer is no, the answer is no.
Yeah.
But I don't know the answer because I haven't been told no yet.
Yeah. Well, it'd be hard to argue with that.
It'd be hard to argue with it.
I can tell you that. And, you would probably get some people that just say, well, that's the way we've always done it.
Always done it.
Yeah.
Man, I remember when great-grandpa and everything back in the 1900s, that's the way they did it.
Yeah.
How many times you hear it?
A lot.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're so worried about our little fiefdoms
Yeah.
that we're not thinking about the overall picture of our parish.
That's right.
There's so many things that we can do to pick it up and make it better.
Yeah, and I like that you said that, because with your office, a lot of what you do is not looking at directly in front of you, but how does this affect 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 8 years from now, whatever it is. It's a forward thinking that is required of good assessor to be able to see how is this going to affect my people, further down the road. And
you and I were talking about that a few minutes ago, Jim, and we said, when the flood came, Ascension Parish gave 75%. Baton Rouge gave 55%. I'm sitting there going, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Because if we'd have lost value, the millages would have went up. That's what a lot of people don't know.
Nope.
So instead of getting 10 meals, they'd been getting 15 meals.
Yeah.
If you think they won't lower them at 10, you think they're going to lower them at 15?
Nope.
So if we'd have lost value in there, because the adjustment means up or down.
Right.
So if they weren't going to get the same money as they got the year before, it don't matter about a natural disaster. If they weren't going to get the same money as they got last year, they were going to raise their millages. So now instead of averaging 114 meals, you've been averaging 135, 140.
Yeah.
Now put that to the new assessments and how much your tax bill would have been. Those were the things that we had to think of back then. Yeah. We had to look at it and say, I don't have the leisure of lowering at 75%, because in Ascension, him lowering the ones that flooded 75% affected his budget zero. He said it made zero effect on him.
Yeah.
Baton Rouge was the same way. For the ones that flooded, it made zero. In Livingston, it would have devastated us.
100%.
But since they got to get the same amount of money as they got last year, I would have had to adjust the millages upward. You wouldn't have noticed in your tax bill that first year because you would have been paying the same thing.
Yeah.
But the next year when the value started coming back, you'd have had higher and higher millages.
Yeah.
And we would be in real trouble now.
Absolutely.
That's the things that people don't realize that had to go into the thought process.
Yeah, and I didn't. When we were talking about it, it really clicked with me. We talked a little bit about homestead, and one of the great points you made when we were talking was the fact that if you raise your homestead, the issue becomes those entities still need money. Mm-hmm. So they're just going to raise their millage to make up for that.
The way it works is this. Everybody comes to me and this is the scream every year. We need to raise the homestead. It's been $75,000 for years.
Yeah.
That's right. It has.
Yeah.
But when you raise it to whatever you want to raise it to, 100,000, 125, 150, the people that are under that, they're happy. But if your house is over that amount, your taxes just went up because the entity still, if they got $1 million last year, they're going to get $1 million this year by law. They got to get the same thing.
Yeah.
So that $1 million has got to be made up. So the more people you take out, the more that the people that are left in have to pay.
Yeah.
So, great example. You go to eat dinner, the bill's $100. Yeah. You got 10 people go in there, they pay $10 a piece. But if I take 5 of them out and say, I want to give you exemptions, y'all don't have to pay tonight, now that bill comes 20.
Yeah.
Think about it, that's how easy it is. It doubles you up.
Yep.
But if you add 20 more people 10 more people, and the bill is still $100. Now instead of paying 10, I'm paying 5.
Yeah.
So the more people you can have in that pool, the less you're going to pay.
Yeah.
But you got to make the districts understand that if we do this, you're going to have to lower your millages to the max, to the bottom.
That's right. Because if the roads need $10 million, they're still going to need $10 million.
They're going to need $10 million.
They're just going to need it from less people.
That's right. 100%.
I mean,
100%.
It's as simple as that.
We've got to start thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
I look at Mr. Ladd. I look at Layton when he was in there. He thought outside the box. I look at Rick Ramsey. I said about him what was going to be a mayor. Mr. Jimmy out in Walker. Yeah. They think outside the box. Jason St. Pierre at the school board when he was out at Walker.
Yeah.
I heard somebody say one day that Jason didn't even know there was a box. He was so far out of. That's the kind of thinking that we've got to have, and we've got to start instituting in our parish. And we've got leaders that are willing to do it.
Yeah.
They need to come together. We said the other day, you and I was discussing, we're talking about $10 million that Livingston Parish got over the legislature. $10 million.
Yeah.
Tangipahoa got 20. Ascension got 70. 10, 20, and 70. We're the fastest growing parish, and yet we're sitting here fighting over $10 million trying to rob Peter to pay Paul. Well, I'm going to take this, if you can give me $500,000 over here, I'm going to build another road. Well, if you build another road, we're going to need this, so I'm going to take some of your money over here, $10 million.
Yeah.
Think about if they would have taken those 3 parishes, and they would have taken that $100 million and divided it by 3. We'd have had 33 1/3. Tangipahoa would have had 33 1/3. Ascension would have been mad.
Sure.
Because they'd have went from 70 down to 33 1/3.
Yeah.
But those other 2 would have been happy. Could you imagine what Mr. Delatt could do if he had another $23 million to operate this budget on?
It'd be unbelievable.
So why are we not, as a group of leaders, that's what we're supposed to be called, right?
Yeah.
Why are we not over there with the parish president, the sheriff, the assessor, the clerk of court, the coroner, the mayors, the councilmen, the aldermen, everybody, police chiefs, everybody. Why are we not over there, not just one time every session, but over there once a week saying, where's ours?
Yeah.
Where's ours? We're the fastest growing parish in the state, and we got $10 million. St. Helena got more than us.
Yeah. And I can see you take that personal.
Oh, it's very personal.
Yeah.
Very personal as to why we only got $10 million.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here trying to pull. I don't, you just can't. I get to hear a lot of it and everything, and the money's just not there. It's stretched. Parish councils don't have any money. Yeah. But what could they have done with $23 million more dollars? Just make it fair. Yeah. You don't even have to give us more.
Right.
Just make it fair with some of the projects and everything. $23 million, we could have done a whole lot of things. Now, I'm oversimplifying it because that money would have had to been dedicated.
Sure.
And so I know I'm going to get somebody call me, that's not the way it works. It's the way it works.
Yeah.
It's the way it works. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. So if we're over there every day and we're saying, why not Livingston? And we've got us all standing there and we're all waiting in that lobby when they come walking out the door. Because I know as assessors, we show up over there and we're constantly over there.
Yeah.
And they're like, man, what are y'all here for today? What do y'all want? Here, take it. Same thing, same concept.
Yeah.
Why not Livingston?
That's right.
Why are we fighting over 10 million when we should have had 33 million? That's the question. Everybody out there right now should be asking that same question. Why are we fighting over 10 million when we should have had 33 million?
Yeah.
Why are we the fastest growing parish? Because we've got good schools, we've got good safety, we've got good fire departments, and you send us $10 million.
Yeah. It's hard to argue with Jeff Taylor.
Yeah.
And I really can see that's a personal thing with you.
Absolutely.
And you know, you can't argue what you said. That should be something that every day people are complaining about and have an issue with, because it's like we became a stepchild or something to those other parishes, and we are the, you know, in my opinion, I'm sure yours, I think we are leading the way right now in a lot of things.
No
We're growing faster than anybody.
And people want to come out here. Best kept secret, Livingston Parish. I tell people that all the time. 24 years ago when I became assessor, they had on the wall things not to do when you go to conferences. Now they have things to do. Yeah. When things happen, they call me and say, "What did you do here?" That's the other people, my compadres. How'd you do this?
Yeah.
So when we're setting these things up, why not Livingston? It ought to be our theme.
Yeah.
Why not Livingston?
I think it should.
Because we're sitting here. My mother, wonderful Christian woman, okay? Wonderful lady. And we used to always say, well, I can't do that because I'm from here.
Yeah.
I can't do that because I'm from here. And my mom said, don't ever let that come out of your mouth.
Amen.
She said, you sit there and you say, I'm from here. This is why we can do it.
Yeah.
And she would tell me, you know, Gideon was from the least of the least of the least. And I'll share this deal with you. Where I was from was put down on the community next to them. That community was put down by the community next to them. That one was put down by the community next to them. Dental Springs was put down by Baton Rouge. Baton Rouge was put down by New Orleans. Everybody wants to think that they are something.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is God used Gideon, who the Bible says was from the least of the least. And he rose to prominence because he believed that there was a promise in his land. And there's a promise in our land if we'll take it, because Livingston Parish is growing. We're the best kept secret in all of this state. We have good people that are leading us, and if we continue to work together, or if we start to work together and showing up at that Capitol and saying we want ours, how many times have you seen people you sit there and go, man, why do they keep getting stuff? Well, they're over there. Yeah. Show up. Don't just send your legislators over there and have them fighting for something. Show up with them. Walk into the room with your representatives. Walk into the room with your senators and let them know we're important out here.
That's right.
And yes, you want to think we're the least of the least, but guess what? If he has favor on you, the good things are going to happen. That's right. My sermon for the day.
No, I love it. And you're absolutely right. And pressure creates diamonds.
That's right. Why not Livingston?
Why not Livingston?
Say it over and over and over. If you're out there listening to my podcast today, start asking the question, why not Livingston?
Yeah.
And anybody that don't believe that, let them know that, yes, we can accomplish, we can do, but we're going to have to get our part. We're not going to be able to get $10 million. We're going to need our $33 million.
Yeah.
And we're going to show up over there and we're going to start getting loud. And any one of the leaders that want to go, I'm over there already. Yeah. Come over there and join me. Yeah. Because they get tired of hearing me.
Sure.
Because why not Livingston is said a whole lot. Why not us? Why not us?
I think that's perfect. And I'd love to see that come to fruition. All our leaders up there getting what we deserve, what what as a parish we've earned, and not accepting. That's unacceptable.
That's unacceptable.
$10 million is unacceptable.
Is unacceptable.
I believe that.
And I watched our council, I watched our representatives, and I watched all these people fighting over $10 million. And the whole time I'm sitting there on the outside going, we're fighting over $10 million. They got 20. Yeah. They got 70. And we're fighting over 10. Now, they were trying to make things happen.
Sure.
But they got 10 million. So this year, say 10 million is not acceptable.
Yeah.
It's not acceptable.
It's not.
We're going to get what is owed to this parish. Fastest growing, top 10 school, complete safety when you go out in the walk around the parks at night.
Yep.
Fire districts are very low rated.
Yep.
When I say low rated, I don't mean they're low rated, they're low ratings.
Right. Yeah.
When you look at that, we're the best kept secret around. People ain't moving out here, Jim, because we're terrible.
That's right.
If you read on all the Facebook posts and everything, you think we're the worst things around.
Yeah.
Truth of the matter is people are moving out here because we got a good thing.
We're
a good kept secret.
I think so. And I think we need to stop fighting with each other.
Absolutely.
And start fighting for what we deserve.
I'll make a challenge right now. If any of our leaders, the ones I mentioned, our parish-wides, our municipalities, our aldermen, our councilmen, our police chiefs, if any of you want to start working on this, call me.
Yeah.
My number is 225-921-1554. I would love to work with you, and let's start putting a plan together that we can go to that legislature and we can bring real needs of Livingston Parish and see what can happen. Because a rope that is bound together tightly is going to hold.
Amen.
But we don't have that rope. We got people scattered all over the place trying to accomplish their own goal.
Yeah.
Let's get in there and work together. And let's take what Livingston has to offer us. And you're going to find that more people want to come. More people want to come. Now, some people don't want anybody else to come.
Sure.
But when I say more people are going to come, we're going to have business that's going to come in here. If you build it, they'll
quality
come.
people.
Quality people. If you build it, they'll come.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we don't have to go to Baton Rouge and buy this. It's going to be right here. Right now, even though we got things happening, we still have to go outside the parish.
Yeah.
Why not Livingston?
We're so much more than a bedroom community.
So much more. Why not
I believe
Livingston?
that. Why not Livingston?
Say it over and over.
I love it. Thank you so much for doing this today. Thank you for everyone who is listening and watching, and we'll see you next time.